Hello and welcome to another edition of the Life, Liberty, Etc. range bag. Today we're going to show you how to disassemble a Remington 870 shotgun. This is probably the most common shotgun you'll find in America today. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is make sure it's unloaded. So we'll check the magazine. See there's no rounds in the magazine. Push back on the slide stop lever. Open the slide. We see there's no rounds in the chamber. The next step is to remove the barrel. So we're going to remove this nut off the end of the magazine. This just unscrews. And we'll move the slide about halfway forward, and then we can take off the barrel. The next step is to remove the bolt and the bolt carrier from the receiver. So we're going to push up on the lifting arm here, and there's a shell stop on the left-hand side of the receiver. You're going to push this in, and then you're going to pull the slide forward. So we're going to flip this over to do it. We're going to push that in with our finger, and the slide and the bolt come right out. Now we can remove the trigger assembly. We'll just tap these two pins out. And the trigger assembly comes right out. One last optional step is to remove the magazine spring and follower. And there's this little cap here on the end of the magazine tube. Just kind of work it out with a screwdriver or something. And eventually it'll come out of there. It's not too hard. And you can take this spring out, and then you can take out the follower. And that covers the major disassembly of a Remington 870 shotgun. And now we'll show you how to put all this back together. Alright, we'll start by putting the magazine back together. So we'll put the follower back in. Put the magazine spring in. And then this end cap, you just kind of squeeze it together and it slips back into that the end of the magazine. And it just pops back in there. Now we'll put the trigger assembly back in the receiver. So that just slides in here. And we'll put our two pins back in. And just be careful with this one so you don't scratch anything. There we go. Now we're ready to put the bolt and the bolt carrier back in the receiver. And what we need to do is move these two shell stop levers out of the way when we try to put the slide back on. So let's get that started. We're going to put the slide on. Then we're going to put the bolt carrier onto the slide. And the bolt goes on. And you get this started in the receiver. And we're going to push this shell stop on the right hand side out. And we're going to push the one on the left hand side out. And then the bolt goes in. Now all that's left is to put the barrel back on. So push on the slide stop lever. Push the slide about halfway back. Put on the barrel. And then put the barrel nut back on. Now we'll do some quick function tests. We'll see that there's no rounds in the magazine. Pull back on the slide stop. No round in the chamber. Here's the safety. Turn the safety off, pull the trigger and hold it back. Cycle the slide. Check the trigger reset. That looks good. Cycle the slide, put the safety back on, check the safety, that looks good too. And check the slide stop, make sure the slide stop works. That covers the disassembly and reassembly of a Remington 870 shotgun.